And we began to build a process of how to nurture and develop students, not just in terms of their educational skill sets, but also for their life career and what they want to do in terms of service. My course in life actually started out in wanting to be a doctor, to be a physician. And I had this vision that I was going to be this wonderful physician that would just spend time with patients, help restore their wellness, and I would be sacrificial with my time. I would always be on the go. I'd be that classic doctor that everyone looks to for guidance and also, of course, for their health care. And through a series of transitions that occurred both at my undergraduate level in college and then ultimately graduate work at Howard University College of Medicine, that journey changed. It literally changed from the context of being the actual physician to one who teaches and mentors and inspires physicians, not just for their excellence in medicine, but most importantly for their calling to service. And a brief story just related to my faith tradition. I was at a Bible study at my church, and I was sharing some of my life journey of how in the world did I get to Georgetown School of Medicine and teaching and education and working with students who often become physicians.
Yeah.
And after I shared that journey of all these twists and turns, a minister looked at me and he said, "You know what? God didn't design you to be the king, but the king maker, and by extension, the queen maker." He says, "Do you really understand?" And I said, "No, explain to me more." He said, "Well, you always had this thought, this passion, this idea that you were going to be the great healer, if you will, of the land. That God would help you do that, to heal people, to bring them together, and that gives back joy and happiness. That's how you saw your life. That if you could bring people together through healing and also through good advice on their health, people will be happy. But God had a different plan for you." He said, "No, that's not going to be your actual journey in life. Your journey in life will be you will actually inspire and train the exact type of people that you would want in medicine, meaning what you thought you were going to do, you will actually train those wonderful people. So by extension, you're the trainer of kings and queens. So how does that look?" He says, "Your influence that you thought was just going to be you, in fact, through your passion and your skill sets, it'll actually be through multitudes of people who will share the same vision." And then he said, "Do you accept your calling in life?" And I was like, wow. I was about 12 years removed from actual medical school, if you will, and was in the early part of my career of medical education because I always felt like I had to use this information that I learned and I desired, and I still want to do something in healthcare. And that's when I really began to understand that I always had this passion for sharing information. And in my family, there's a long line of teachers. So that's the teacher part.
Yeah.
I always want to give in the way of maybe health and wellness, but wrapped up in there is a lot of just basic wisdom for life, which allows us to live a healthy life, if you will.
Yeah.
And all that came to be. And so, an opportunity prior to actually arriving at Georgetown, I was working for a pharmaceutical company using my biomedical science for clinical trials. And I happened to come in contact with another colleague who says, "You know what? I want to introduce you to a gentleman by the name of Dr. Arthur Hoyt at Georgetown School of Medicine. I think you two could do a lot of work together because you have this passion to want to help people, and he needs someone to work with students." And that's how the education started on that trail. And the first day I met Dr. Hoyt, he said to me, "You have a very interesting background." He said, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" I said, "Well, I'm just here talking with you." He says, "Come with me." So we go down to the lower level of the medical school, and there are students in the room studying. Now, remember, I've only met Dr. Hoyt the first time for like 5 minutes. He takes me downstairs to a group of students studying. We walk in the room and he says, "Hey, how's everyone doing? You working hard?" He says, "Yes. This is my new associate, David Taylor." I said, "New associate? We were just having a conversation for 5 minutes. What are you talking about?" In my head. But I just went along. He said, he's going to actually lead you in a discussion on the information that you're presenting to one another right now on the bulletin board. I was like, you have to be kidding. What is this man doing?
Yeah, just
And
know.
so he says, "Mr. Taylor." And that's how it started. I wound up facilitating a discussion with the students based on what they had on the board. And it was exciting. Short version, he said, "I need to hire you immediately." And we began to build a process of how to nurture and develop students, not just in terms of the educational skill sets, but also for their life career and what they want to do in terms of service. So there's a
Yeah.
combination of mentoring and teaching.